Yeah, hi everybody. Ryan back here with you again. We made it over from Carlisle, PA, back over here to Stowe, Ohio, not too far from where I live at, to drop off this load here this morning. It was a load of tires, actually. I know they're kind of a high-value load, so I didn't want to say anything what it was prior to getting it over here, but they're unloading me right now here. These usually take a little while to unload. Aside from this, I'm headed back to the house. I'm going to be home for the Christmas holiday. But why I had the time here, I actually did this video while I was over in Carlisle, and I decided to redo it and do things a little bit different and use some of the other tools that that Landstar has to offer for figuring this issue out. But one of the things that really is elusive to new owner-operators and some owner-operators that have been out here for a while that don't really know is IFTA, fuel tax, and how it all works. And it's not the same as you just driving your car, buying gasoline, paying the tax or whatever, and driving. It's a lot more complicated than that. And just wanted to kind of break it down and show you some of the tools that Landstar has if you're at Landstar or thinking about coming to Landstar, to kind of help you out with these, with saving a lot of money. Because you can, in the right scenarios, and I'll only show you one scenario where it could cost you thousands of dollars a year, basically. Just by the pump price, or the sign you see out at a truck stop or whatever, to Pilot, TA, or wherever, it can be really, what's the word I'm thinking of here? Misleading is really good. Just because one place is cheaper, like I'm going to use the St. Louis area, right there on the border of Missouri and Illinois. You may think, oh, I'm going to run over to Missouri and buy fuel over there. Then I'm going to run around in Illinois, and I'm going to show you why that's a bad idea. And it comes down to the fact that the fuel is actually more expensive there. The tax is a lot cheaper, so it artificially makes it look like the fuel is a lot cheaper there. Then you're going to end up paying that mileage, or not mileage, but the gallons that you use are what you get taxed on within a state. And I'll show you, kind of get more into that in a minute, and show you how that all works. But so I'm going to go ahead and show you on the Landstar One app here the fuel prices, the discounts, and the what the fuel taxes are, and how you can set that up to see the cheapest possible actually bare fuel price. And that's the way I have my app set up, is to actually, you want to buy the fuel in the cheapest area, or whatever. The cheapest location, basically. You want to take the tax off, take your discount off, and actually see what the price of the fuel is with nothing else attached. Because you're going to pay the tax regardless. It doesn't matter where you buy the fuel. If you drive through a state, you're going to pay them their tax. Whether you bought fuel in Missouri and drove to Illinois, you're going to pay the difference in the tax in Illinois, and vice versa. So if you buy fuel in Illinois, then and you're running in Missouri, you're going to get money back. Once you do. I know Landstar does our fuel taxes monthly, IFTA tax monthly. If some people do it quarterly or whatever. When I was with Mercer, if you're at Mercer, you don't have to worry about any of this. That was one of the perks I liked over there. One of the things was that you could buy fuel anywhere, and they covered the fuel tax. I guess I don't know how they put it in, maybe in a pool altogether, and they just figured it out. But they didn't back charge us for for fuel tax in any of the states or anything. But you didn't get any credits either. So if you're one of the smart ones, then you were kind of getting screwed. But but with them, it was, you didn't have to worry about all this stuff. So some other carriers maybe like that. I know when I was with Snyder as an owner operator, it was the same way as it is at Landstar. You had to pay the fuel tax, or you had to pay, or you got a credit, depending on where you bought your fuel and all that. So most carriers, I think, are probably the same way that it is here at Landstar, or at the way it was at Snyder. But the thing at Snyder, they didn't tell us anything about it. They didn't really give us any, kind of coming into it. They didn't really have any, a topic through orientation where they talked about it. Landstar, when you go in orientation, they do kind of, I know the guy in Indianapolis, he does a little, short course on it, does a scenario too. And I think he uses Illinois and Indiana in his scenario and shows the differences, but I'm going to use Missouri and Illinois. So first thing I'll do is get on the Landstar One app, and I'm going to show you how it works with the tax, the discounts, and all that. And we're going to get our price, what we're actually going to pay at the pump. And then there's, on the Landstar Online, they have a feature where you can actually put in where you bought your fuel, the price you paid, but you have to subtract a discount. So you're going to show the bare price of fuel with the road tax, or IFTA tax, however you want to say it. So you have to put that in there. the gallons that you bought and then the miles that you drove in each state, and it'll calculate it out. Then I'm going to do it backwards and show you the differences, how this works. So I'll go ahead to the Landstar One app and show you the fuel prices. Okay, so we're on the Landstar One app here, and I've got it down to the Chicago or St. Louis area. I don't know why I'm saying Chicago. And what I'm going to show you, we're going to use two examples here. So I've got my app set up to where it shows me on the map here the price of the fuel with the discount already taken off and the tax already taken off. So I'm looking at the bare price of the fuel, the basic commodity with nothing else on it. Because like I said, it doesn't matter where you buy with the taxes, you're going to pay the tax regardless. So you want to look for the cheapest price of fuel. And it sometimes, like I said, you might not be paying in the tax credit, but you're getting the cheaper fuel and you're better off to pay the tax credit out of the settlement after the fact. So when you're paying a higher tax in, if it is cheaper there, it goes into like suspense where they hold that money. Then at the end of the month, like I said at Landstar, they go over all your miles, all the states, and that's all calculated in with your e-log. And that actually, and they have with Comdata with our fuel cards, they track how much fuel we buy, how many gallons, where we buy it, what we paid for it, and all that. And then then they divvy it up between the states where you ran at. So like I said, so my price is not the pump price. It actually has when you set this app up, you can set it up to where it'll take the tax and the discount off and show you that price. So when I look at the map, I can say, okay, bam, there's a grade one. That is the cheapest price for the actual fuel. So we're going to look at Love's over here. And it's $1.91. That's with the discount and with IFTA tax already taken off. The Missouri tax is only 17 cents a gallon. So the pump price there is $2.34, which if you're just looking at that, that looks pretty good. So I got my whiteboard here, and I'm going to take some notes real quick. So I'm going to want to for the other thing I'm going to show you with the other app or on Landstar Online to show your prices with they do the calculation for what your trip expense would be. I need to look at this price. I got to take the tax off, or sorry, take the discount off. Actually, sorry. No. So we're gonna leave the tax on. We want to leave the tax on. So I really just confused myself there. So with the tax left on the fuel, we're gonna be at 208 9/10, and I'm just gonna round this up to 209. And that's buying fuel in Missouri at the Lowe's. So we'll write that down. All right, now we're going to go across the river over to the Flying J and see what they look like. So at Flying J, the pump price is $265.9. Landstar discount is 32 cents. State IFTA tax is 61 1/10. So that gives us a net actual fuel price of 172.5. So again, we're going to add the tax back in because that's what we're going to pay at the pump. We're not going to, the discount's going to be taken off. So you got to take that discount off. And sorry, I was screwing up on that a minute ago. And it's too early. I haven't had enough coffee yet. And I'm not used to driving during the day. So, so with the discount, that would give us a pump price of $2.33, even though the sign out there, like I said, you're looking at $2.65. So we were at $2.09 in Missouri. So it looks like you're better off to buy fuel over in Missouri, but I'm going to show you why you're not here in a second. So we're going to write down, I'm just going to round this up to 234 for Illinois because it's 6/10, and that's at the Flying J. And for Landstar guys, you need to remember too, at Pilot and Flying J, we get 10 points per gallon. So that's like another 10 cents discount that, you get in points as well. So I always factor that in when I'm looking at when I'm looking at that map with all the prices. I like TA and Petro. I like the showers and everything better. So I try to go to them. Even like I said, if I see $1.72 and $1.72 at a TA and a Flying J, I'll still go to the Flying J because I'm going to get 10 more cents in points, basically, so it's still cheaper. So take that into account. But that really doesn't have a whole lot to do with this tax and stuff that I'm talking right now, but I'm just throwing that out there. So right now we've added taken the discount off, added the tax back in, and like I said, we got $209 would be our pump price for Missouri at the Loves, and we have $234 in Illinois at the Flying J there at Pontoon Beach. So now I'm going to take you over to the Landstar Online and show you the trip calculator for tax and show you how this all plays out and show you two different ways. So, all right, guys. So if you go into Landstar Online, go up here to the three bars, go to My Freight, Trip Planning, Fuel Tax Trip Planner. Now for this little exercise, you put your miles per gallons in. We're gonna say that's your average over the month or whatever. So we're gonna put 6 in. And the way that that's calculated by Landstar, anyways, they'll calculate all the miles that you drove, and then all the fuel that you bought, and they'll calculate those together and get your average MPG. So by like I said, how many miles you bought and divide that by how many miles you drove, or vice versa. So we got that. Now we're gonna start with Missouri. We're gonna say you're gonna run 180 miles. You're getting 6 miles. I'm gonna try to keep this nice and even and make it simple. So we're gonna say you're gonna drive 180 miles. You're gonna drive 2 miles across the river, and we're gonna say you bought your fuel in Missouri. You bought 30 gallons of fuel. And what did I say our pump price was? It was $209. $209 in Missouri. Now we're going to say you just drove across the river to Illinois. Oh, wrong state. And we're going to say you drove 178 miles over there. So that gives us a total of 180 miles, 6 miles a gallon, 30 gallons. So it's exactly what we needed to go 180 miles. We're going to say you didn't purchase any fuel, so we don't need to put the pump price in. And now we're going to compute this. So it shows us the state tax credit, or the state rate, credit rate. Missouri 17 cents, Illinois is 61.1 cents over there. So we paid in $5.10 credit. And we used 6 cents that we owe Missouri, which our credit covers that because we paid in $5.10. So that puts us down to $5.04 that we have as a credit. Now in Illinois, their tax is 61.1 and we owe them $18.13. So now we're going to be negative. We're going to have to pay out of our settlement. You got it because you've only got $5.04 left. You're going to have to come up with $13.09 that's going to come out of your settlement for that. It actually shows you right up here at the top, $13.09. So that's going to come, you got to pay that, because you didn't have enough credit from the fuel that you bought at the pump. So I'm going to write that down. So if you're buying this trip, if you bought that fuel in Missouri, your total would cost you $75.79. So now we're going to reverse this. So we're going to edit it. And we're going to say you bought 0 gallons there. You bought your fuel over there at the Flying J. You bought 30 gallons there. Like I said, and your pump price there with the discount taken off was $209. Where over here at the Flying J in Illinois, it's $234. Oh. So we got that in. So we bought our fuel. We still drove the 2 miles over there for some reason. I'm gonna leave everything the same, but it wouldn't make any sense to go over there. I mean, maybe whatever your plans are. So we bought our 30 gallons for 2 miles and 178 miles in Illinois. $234 pump price. Now we're gonna compute this. So right there, our cost would be, so we paid $70.20 for the fuel is what we paid in, and we'd have a 14-cent credit after the fact. So there, our trip cost would have been $70.06 is what that trip would have cost us. So every time, so we got a difference of $5.73. Now that don't sound like a lot right there, but let's say you're running out, you're just doing turns in Illinois. That's all you're doing. I mean, you're running back and forth from St. Louis to Chicago, and you keep buying your fuel down there. So you're running 1,800 miles a month. So we'll scale this up by 10, and that puts you at $57.30. And if you're running that every week, that's costing you almost $60 a week every week. Now let's go ahead and times that. We'll just round up to $60, and we're going to times that by 50 weeks, and that puts you up to $3,000 a year. You know, just to make that simple, that's $3,000 a year that could go right back into your pocket, you know, net. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, this, like I said, you really got to know what the taxes are in each state, and don't go by the pump price, because it can be deceiving if states have a really high tax. Like Pennsylvania's one. Pennsylvania's like almost 75 cents a gallon, and also like California, they're almost 80 cents a gallon. And I'll get on the other app, back to Landstar 1 there, and I'll show you guys a couple of those, what the taxes are out there, and I'll compare it with some of the other states, and then you can, you know, you can see just by a high pump price, it can be very misleading. So that's that right there. Just by buying your fuel across the river where you think it's higher, you know, a 180-mile trip just costs you almost $6 more. So, and I mean, $6 don't sound like a whole lot, but you scale that up by 10 or so, if you're on 1,800, 2,000 miles, you know, that's $60 or so every week if you're doing this kind of thing. So we'll go back to the Landstar 1 app, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, so I just wanted to show you other prices here, and we're down here on I-10, right at the California Arizona line. So there's that Flying J right there, which is always packed, and everybody's buying fuel there before they go into California. And I'm going to show you, it's not really that much cheaper, and sometimes it can be actually cheaper to buy fuel in California. So we're going to look at the Flying J here, and this is right at that exit right before you get into California. Your pump price is $275.9, Landstar discounts 25 cents, and Arizona's IFTA tax credit is 26 cents. So that gives you a net fuel price, the basic bare fuel price of $224.9. So now I'm going to run over to California. We'll go over here to, there's a TA there at Coachella. There's a Love's too. And so actually the Love's, so let me break this down. The TA right there is $329.9 out on the pump price, out on the sign out by the highway. It's going to tell you $329.9. So you're going to say, oh my God, that's like 60 cents, you know, 60 cents higher or so than what it is over in Arizona. But like I said, the time you break it down, I mean, you're getting a 26-cent discount there. California's tax credit is $79.5. So that puts you down to $224 4/10. It's the same price as it is over there, right there at the Arizona line. And actually, I was just looking across the street. Actually, at the Love's, it's actually a penny cheaper than what it is in Arizona. So you got $328.9 on the pump or on the sign, 26-cent discount, $79.5 IFTA credit. It gives you $223 4/10. So it's actually cheaper there. But you have to take an effect too, like into account at Landstar. At that Flying J out there, we'd still get those 10 points. So I might still buy it there. But the thing is, if you buy it there and you drive through California, all that tax that you didn't pay in, they're going to get you for it. I mean, it's going to come out of your settlement instead of just paying it. Like, if I buy it in California, I'm going to be paying that tax credit at the pump, so I'm not going to see it come out of my settlement. Versus if I buy it over in Arizona, yeah, I'm going to pay a little bit less at the pump, or I'm going to see a less of a deduction on my Com Data card when I buy that fuel. But next month when they do our IFTA reporting, and they're going to come after me for it, and it's going to come out of my settlement. So you're going to pay either way. So we'll run over here to Ontario, and there to find these other two Flying J's. It's a penny higher than what it is in Arizona. So we'll come over to the actually over here at TA and Petro there in Ontario, the two big ones there. It's 2 cents cheaper than it is over in Arizona. So you got $329.9 at the pump, 28 3/10 discount, Landstar discount, and a $79.5 IFTA credit gives you $222 1/10 is your price out there. So it's very deceiving, like I said. So you really gotta take those prices off, get your bare fuel price. and decide whether it's, I mean, if it's a lot cheaper in Arizona, yeah, it's better off to buy fuel there than just pay the credit or pay the taxes out of your settlement. So it's you just really got to watch out in situations like that. So now up here in Oregon, and I'll talk about this once I get off here as well, Oregon does not have tax on the fuel. They tax you by the mileage, and I believe it's like 21 cents a mile that they charge you. So basically for every 100 miles you drive in Oregon, you're going to pay like $21 or so for every 100 miles, and there's no tax on the fuel. But fuel is still a little bit cheaper there. So even though you're not paying any tax credit in on it, you still might be able to be better to buy it there than versus buying it in Washington. So we'll look at the Flying J right here. And pump price is $2.14, or sorry, not fuel price. Pump price is $2.39 9/10. Landstar discounts 25 cents. And as you see, there's no credit, no tax credit there. So that gives you a net fuel price of $2.14.9. Now we'll look over here across the river in Washington State. You get a pump price of $3.09 9/10. Landstar discounts 25 cents. State IFTA tax credits 49 4/10. That gives you a net fuel price of $2.35.5. So you'd still be better off to buy that fuel over in Oregon, and then just pay that tax. If you drive through Washington, just pay it out of your settlement. So you always want to buy where the fuel price, the bare fuel price, is the cheapest. So I think anywhere else. And we'll look over here at New York, I guess. So we're showing $1.92 over here at the TA outside of Buffalo. And at the pump, it shows it as $2.95.9. Landstar discount 64.5. State IFTA tax credits 39 1/10 gives you a net fuel price of $1.92 3/10. Now I know typically I usually buy fuel when I'm up in New York because it seems like it's a little bit cheaper than buying it in Ohio, even though it looks higher. So we'll go back to Ohio here and see what it compares to over here. So over here we're showing $2.75.9, 41 cent Landstar discount. State credit, our tax state credit just went up. Now it's 47 cents. So that gives us a net fuel price of $1.87. So it's a couple cents cheaper, but not a whole lot. But you've seen how much we're getting a lot bigger discount up there in New York. We're getting like, what was it, 65 cents versus the 41 4/10. So I mean, you really just gotta set this up right and look at the actual fuel prices. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off here and wrap up. And for you Canadian guys, the Landstar One Up actually does have the prices up in Canada too. So and it's in gallons, not liters, up there on the app. Anyways, it calculates that. So you can do the same thing up there if you're in Canada as you can in the U.S. So and they do have the IFTA taxes just like we have down in the U.S. It seems like a lot of the Canadian provinces are a lot higher taxes than what I think Ontario's up in the 60s or 70s. So they have a little bit higher tax than most of the states in the U.S. do on overall average. So, but we'll go ahead and get out of here and we'll wrap this up. All right, so there's my little spiel or little intro or IFTA 101, how that all works. And like I said, Landstar's got some great tools to help you out to save some money. And like I said, the pump price can be very deceiving, or that sign you see out by the highway can be very deceiving if you don't know what the state's taxes are. And you can Google the state IFTA taxes, and you can find a whole list of what every state is. There are a few states that do charge a mileage tax. Like I said, Oregon's strictly a mileage tax only. There's some states that charge you by the gallon and by the mileage. I believe New Mexico, New York, and Kentucky, I believe they all have a little bit of a mileage tax as well as a gallon. Now, the thing about Kentucky that I want to mention, and I never buy fuel in Kentucky unless I absolutely have to, and I don't buy that much. In Kentucky, I believe don't quote me, I believe their tax is 31 cents, or their credit's 31 cents is what you pay at the pump. But if you're running in Kentucky, they'll give you 31 for 31, or whatever it is exactly. But if you run out of state, they don't give you the full credit. they only credit you, I think, 21 cents. So they keep 10 cents of it, and they don't credit it to you for other states. So so if you're just running through there, if you're just running from Indiana down to Nashville to Tennessee or something, I wouldn't buy fuel there, because the mileage you run in the other states, or the gallons used there, they're not going to give you that. They don't give you the full credit back for it like all the other states do. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. So if I'm running low, I might stop and grab 25 gallons or something, or just enough to get me a shower credit or whatever, and then fill up at another state, because I like getting whatever I pay in. I want to get that full amount, full credit for it, not 10 cents less or 33% less, basically. So keep that in mind as well with Kentucky. But that's pretty much it. The other thing, I keep saying mileage, but like I said, they track how many gallons you use, or what your average MPG is, the miles ran in each state. Then they calculate the gallons that you used in each state based on your average MPG that for the fuel that you bought in that that month, what the reporting period or whatever. So it's based on that tax per gallon that, like I said, in Illinois, that's 61.10, or out in California, that's 79.5 cents or whatever it is. You're going to pay that tax based on how many gallons you used in that state. So that's a thing to keep in mind. So like I said, I always go for the lowest net fuel price. And then like I said, if I got to pay the tax out on my settlement, but I save money on the fuel, then that's fine. Or if I get a credit because I paid more tax in, then that's fine too. So that's the best way to work it. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up. And like I said, I mean, I know I showed a real simple scenario there with, there's probably a lot of guys that might live in the St. Louis area, and they're running up to Chicago or wherever. And like I said, if you're running 1,800, 2,000 miles a week, and you're thinking, oh, I'm saving 30 cents a gallon there by buying my fuel in Missouri, where it looks cheaper, I mean, it could be costing you. I mean, if that's all you run in a year, and you're running 50 weeks a year or something, like I said, it could be costing you upwards of $3,000 a year that you could be putting right back in your pocket. So, and like I said, when you run a lot of states like me, it gets a little bit more complicated, and that's why I set my app up just to look at the bare fuel price. So if I'm getting close to state lines and I see it's a lot cheaper over here, then that's what I do. If it's the same price, I mean, it might not, like I said, over there on I-10 going into California from Arizona, that Flying J is usually just, everybody think I got to get fuel in Arizona before I go to California, but it's really, as you saw, it's the same price. It just doesn't have that much tax credit on it. So like I said, if you don't use that credit, you get it back. I mean, I've got settlements before where I've got $30, $40, $50 back, and sometimes I got to pay $30, $40, $50. But I always buy the cheapest fuel, so keep that in mind and use those apps. Don't just say, hey, I'm a Flying J guy, I'm only going to stop there. Like I said, with Landstar, you do have those extra points at Pilot Flying J, but I go wherever it's the cheapest. I mean, I like TA and Petro. I like the showers. I like, usually there's more parking, not as much riffraff running around, whatever, a lot of times, for the most part. But I go where it's cheapest, and I include the points too, what I'm getting for that. So I want the best deal. So I'll wrap this up, and we'll call it a day on that. Hopefully they're getting close to getting me unloaded here. Sorry if trailer's moving around a little bit, so camera might be rocking somewhat. Apologize for that if it's a problem for anybody. But again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for the updates, like the videos. We're in a little bit of everything. We do owner-operator trucking, Landstar stuff. Since I'm at Landstar, been here twice for a while. Total, I guess you could say. Been at Mercer, I've talked about that in the past. Been at Snyder, and I do all my own truck maintenance. I got some stuff coming up. We got to do some stuff here, couple little repairs going on with some DPF SCR stuff. Got to do that. Got to put an AC line on coming up. So we do all kinds of truck maintenance. And the farming, if you like our farm videos, even though it's snowing outside right now, so ain't a whole lot going on that front. But we're gonna do a bunch of equipment maintenance. So we're got the farm videos, and like I said, projects galore. So like I said, I'm looking at some other tractors and stuff now too. So, but again, I'll go ahead and shut up and get off here, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.